Good evening, everybody, and welcome to your Final Fantasy Halloween-ish quiz. Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy V, our Final Fantasy Christmas quiz, Final Fantasy VII, Easter quiz, Final Fantasy VI, 8, 11, speedrunning, remake, rebirth, Final Fantasy 13, and 13.2, and 13.3, Final Fantasy X, yay! Welcome to our Final Fantasy podcast, best bits so far. Today we have Sweetheart Ellie, Kane Highwind 27, and Panda Ramen Cat.
Hello, my name is Q-Swine.
Martini.
Dino Keys.
I'm Lady Buggy.
Ness Rocker.
Tomato. Boris.
Kale.
I'm Zessel.
Geckoman.
I'm Tala.
Sid Gomez.
I'm Dupe.
Profar.
Chris.
Jay.
Craig.
I am Frico.
Dimorty.
On Genesis.
I am Croesus.
Over the last 3 years, we've held 5 quizzes, had more than 20 guests, and talked about all mainline Final Fantasies up to and including 13, 1-3. In this episode, we take a look back at some of the most intriguing answers, crackpot theories, and love of Tomato's bassoonified remixes.
9 is really like an interesting game because I feel like they decided to experiment with it so much. And it really was kind of like the jumping off point for a lot of different like later games.
When Adia under Ultimicia's control, basically called Cypher useless at the end of Disc 2. And, you know, he's someone who has this intense dream, this kind of romantic vision, and he does so much for it. And then he, you know, tries his best and still fails and is just completely discarded afterwards. I think my most recent playthroughs, I've been really paying more attention to Cypher, and that moment is a really powerful one for his character.
It wasn't intentional to make the plot like Star Wars, they just wanted a plot that was very easy to follow. However, it is noted that the similarities originated from a 1958 Akira Kurosawa film that inspired Star Wars. So, you know,
Oh.
I mean, like with my playthrough, I was like, I did the whole joke of Gabranth being literally Darth Maul, and I did the whole Duel of the Fates song whenever we were fighting him. You know, and even like Balthier is Han Solo, which unfortunately does mean that Chewbacca is Fran, and now that image is ingrained in your minds forever.
It's like they combined Kingdom Hearts series and Final Fantasy 15 plus the other Final Fantasy series like FF13 series where you have stagger mechanism. So you don't just button mash all the way, but you have to think about like how much should I ATB gauge, should I save to do most damage when it's staggered, and what should I do to stagger it faster?
Final Fantasy 3 Pixel Remaster is it took Final Fantasy 3 from almost bottom of the barrel for me to the top. It's now in my top 5. The 3D version is hot garbage. It's like your ex-wife, okay? Or ex-husband. It's garbage. Play Pixel Remaster 3.
The ending actually kind of changes a little bit depending on who's alive or not when you beat the final boss.
I kind of think they were going to potentially do something like that with 8, but then scrapped it.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a similar way that the final battle of 8 goes down.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Interesting.
Because, if your character's down, when you beat the final boss, they'll actually die in story. But then, during the credits, they'll get revived.
Convince someone who has never played 4 to pick it up today.
4 is better than 8.
Zessel's got a good question. Do you take the Ragnarok Magicite or turn it into a sword?
Magicite.
Yeah, I think I did the Magicite too.
I can't remember which one I chose.
I think I dislike there being a hole in my Magicite list more than I dislike there being a hole in my item list.
Get the whole collection of Magicite.
It probably was the Final Fantasy that was the greatest Final Fantasy before 7 came along.
Do have to give Final Fantasy X a minus point for just absolutely sidelining Moogles. Just, you know, having Moogles be just like one stuffed animal toy weapon for Lulu is just, it's horrible.
I would say Final Fantasy X is a fantastic introduction to the series. It's like a gateway drug. Get into the addiction that's
Exactly.
Final Fantasy. Just do it. I promise you. It's a good time.
Perfect.
Best part of FF2, Guy being able to speak Beaver.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yes.
I speak Beaver. That is the best part.
I speak Beaver.
If lightning were a soup, which soup would she be? Any of you three got a soup choice if lightning were a soup?
Yeah, I answered in chat. I said nettle soup. Tasty but sharp.
Laguna's the only one in the Final Fantasy VIII concept art that's actually wearing clothes.
Oh
All the
god,
other
really?
ones- Yeah, you can see their necks just trail off into skin, and, with literally all of the other portraits.
It's because he's too pretty to be naked.
What specifically is it that makes Seymour such a daddy?
I mean, I think he is. I
guys
like
go
me
for
some
it.
Seymour. I think he's like literally like the best villain in Final Fantasy. And yes, he's kind of creepy, genuinely, but also he's got a really good backstory and he's kind of hot. Let's be honest. I
The
think
robe.
so.
It's the robe.
It's gotta be.
Sometimes our quiz guests thought they had all the right answers. In what game was Active Time Battle introduced?
We have
Let's go for some answers.
Wait.
Oh!
Oh wait,
No, that's wrong. Oh no, I know.
did you catch that?
I caught him typing in some Roman numerals.
I originally had the right answer, and then I switched it because I got confused with the whole 3 is 6, and yeah. As I was typing 3, I panicked because I saw you switching it, and I just finished typing 3, even though I knew it was wrong.
In Final Fantasy VII, while Cloud is in a comatose state, he mentions a game that Square was currently developing. What was the name of that game?
Done.
So the real answer was Xenogears, and Suits written Xenogears, and Dupes put Tifa pre-order Final Fantasy VIII. Beautiful.
I like that.
Oh, I love it. Who composed the music for Final Fantasy? Whoa.
Oh, you're getting ready to say 13. I don't know.
13!
Oh, 13.
Go on, Cecil. Who did the music for Final Fantasy 13?
Not Nobuo Uematsu, or however you say his name, that's for sure.
And then there's the audio round. Tomato, could you describe what these next 3 songs are for us?
I'd call it a symphonic arrangement that not only perfectly recreates the original soundtrack, but improves upon. I believe the technical term is bassoonify. That's it. Yeah. This one's spot on as well. This one's like almost exactly the same as the original.
Great singing in that, I think.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh know.
There was still time.
Pretty easy,
chat.
I think it's easy. I'm not sure yet, though. You think that was loud? The first one was loud. This was louder.
I maybe should have warned about that one as well.
Oh my god, I'm crying. Is there an easier part of that song that we could play? That's not so harsh on the ears.
I can continue it off.
That was terrible.
I can't do that without breaking a smile. It's too beautiful. It's too beautiful what we made here. It's too beautiful.
And finally, our love for Final Fantasy VII.
I guess original 7's so iconic that I'm probably going to really... There's the part of the child in me is going to squeal at every location because I'm going, that's that bridge you cross, and oh, that's that bit you did that, which the remake is really good at doing that.
Holy shit, yeah.
Having those moments. But I guess, and then whether it comes out in part 2 or 3, the city of the ancients, not the temple, the city with all the shell houses.
Yeah.
Not only is obviously there's the iconic story that takes place there, but those little shell houses, I loved those when I was a kid.
My first stream with speedrunning was me doing all these like baby skips that only save seconds and showing off bosses and practicing Materia Keeper and stuff like that, and getting those down first, because I think it's just about getting the strategies actually down. Don't worry too much about, you know, your step count and how fast you're doing your menus. That doesn't come into play. You just want to get the menus right, because if you do them too fast or you miss something, as I said to you earlier about like any of those games, if you miss a menu, it's all over.
I want to see what the megaphone weapons work out to be like.
Exactly, like how that could work.
That was always a bit of a confusion to me in the original game. Is he a giant robotic Moogle that runs up to enemies and yells at them through a megaphone to cause damage?
I think it was one of the writers had a death in the family. I think it was his mom or something. And then he wrote that into the story for Aerith to die because they wanted the player to have that same feeling that nobody is permanent, that they can be ripped away from you in a second and you have no idea. And I'm like, that's such a powerful message. And I know a lot of people play Final Fantasy VII and have no idea, but to me, because I know that, I'm like, she has to die.
What's to come?
All right. I'm gonna take the tinfoil hat. I'm gonna take the little antennas. I'm gonna put them on. I think for the story that they have written to make perfect sense and to finally destroy Sephiroth, Cloud has to die. Cloud is the link that Sephiroth uses. He has to die. That's my crackpot theory. That it may be in the second part, maybe in the third part, somewhere along the lines, Cloud dies. Maybe Zack is the one that kills him. The scary part is, the most iconic moment in gaming for a lot of people, me included, is the death of Aerith. Jenova killing Sephiroth as Sephiroth killing Aerith is such a heart, gut-wrenching moment in gaming and so important, and taking that away from people, both OG players and new players, would be such a mistake. It would be hurtful, it would be wrong. But in the story that they're writing, it's what makes the most sense, that you find a way to save Aerith, and then at the end it's like, yeah, but we all still have to die for this to work. And I really hope it doesn't happen. Like, I'm afraid. I'm really afraid that they're going to take that moment away from you, that they're gonna not only give you like, you can change the future, maybe you can save her. Like Copium, we can save her, and then it's like, wait, I actually saved her. Oh no. Like, this, taking this moment away from people is wrong in my opinion, and it shouldn't happen, but it's where the story logically is moving towards.
One of my greatest appreciations for the Final Fantasy franchise, why I love the Final Fantasy franchise so much, is they're always introducing new systems when a new Final Fantasy comes out, and I love that about him because it's always something to look forward to.
Cut me open, I bleed Final Fantasy.
That's great. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast over the last few years. We've had a lot of fun deep diving into all of the Final Fantasies. Let me know your favourite moment in the comments below, and don't forget you can join us live on Twitch to ask the guests your questions at twitch.tv/hbomb_editor.